Chair. Professor Shafiq, I understand that all Columbia students go through an orientation that includes anti-discrimination training. Does that training include comprehensive education about anti-Semitism, including the central role Israel plays in Judaism?
Thank you for that question. In the past, that was not the case, and that is something we are actively working on.
But is that taking place right now?
We have trained our student affairs staff across Columbia, but
I think time is of the essence, and I hope you will commit to getting that training in place immediately.
Yes, it is being put in place now for our incoming class.
Okay. The report issued by your task force on anti-Semitism says that discrimination and harassment are not protected speech. We have seen chants at Columbia calling to globalize the Intifada, and much worse. During the Intifada, Palestinian suicide bombers blew up Israelis on city buses, at restaurants, even at weddings. And in fact, Columbia alum Sarah Duker was killed in a bus bombing in Jerusalem in 1996. Given this history, are calls to globalize the Intifada acceptable at Columbia?
So
Just a yes or no answer, please.
I personally find it unacceptable. Our current rules have not specified that as not acceptable, but we have sent a very clear message to our community that that kind of language is unacceptable.
I certainly hope you will rectify that in your statements. The task force report also states that anti-Semitism includes efforts to rationalize or endorse the murder of Jews or the destruction of the state of Israel. And I'd like to submit for the record an article written by Professor Joseph Massad that rationalizes the murder of Jews and the destruction of the state of Israel. Why is that professor still teaching at Columbia?
As I said, we have mechanisms in place where faculty cross the line. We have many cases, and when we have any complaints from students saying they feel uncomfortable, there are disciplinary processes in place.
Is he still teaching?
He is still on the faculty.
Is he still teaching?
I'm not. I don't want to misspeak. I'm not sure he's teaching at the moment.
The task force report also states that the mission of a great university requires uncompromising rigor in uncovering facts and analyzing ideas. Now, the article that I just asked to be submitted to the record demonstrates that this professor has an extreme one-sided view of the long-standing conflict in the Middle East, which views Israel as illegitimate and any attempt to destroy Israelis as legitimate. Is teaching this one-sided view of the conflict in the Middle East in line with your mission to educate your students with uncompromising rigor in uncovering facts and analyzing ideas?
Our objective is to give students a broad exposure to many ideas. We have about 50 courses at the moment which cover Israeli and Jewish studies, the Middle East, and it's important that they be exposed to all of those views. But no one student can take all 50 courses.
Is there an effort to make sure that both sides, of course I don't agree that the murder of Jews and the destruction of Israel is a side that should be taught, but are there, for example, any professors in your Middle East Studies department who believe that Israel has the right to exist as a Jewish state?
In fact, the head of that department is an Israeli. And
that doesn't answer my question.
No, and we have many faculty at Columbia who clearly would take that view. I should also say that most of these courses are electives and students can choose which professors they want to study with. But I would, obviously we want them to have a broader range of views.
So I am worried about how we get at the underlying issue that there is such anti-Semitism on your college campus. Now, step one is to make sure that there is rigorous anti-Semitism training in your anti-discrimination course that all your students are supposed to take. Step two is having that same training for your faculty members.
Yes.
And step three is making sure that your Middle East Studies department does not foment anti-Semitism by teaching that Israel is illegitimate as a state, and that Jews should be murdered to get rid of Israel. Is that a problem?
Congresswoman, I agree with you. We are in active discussions with Ted Deutsch of the American Jewish Congress on the kinds of educational programs that they have developed, and we are looking at how we can integrate them. We've done some of that already with our student affairs staff, and we are working with the Antisemitism Task Force to see how to do it for next year.
I believe you have a core curriculum at Columbia. I suggest you insert that, and I'd like to close by asking that a statement by my colleague, Representative Richie Torres, also be entered into the record. With that, my time has expired, and I yield back.